Welcome to Jaded Convos. I am your host, Jaded Pearl, and I got some shit to say. Okay, so we are at episode 3. This episode is called So You Want to Be a Performer? Have that shit in writing. The purpose of this topic and this chosen title is essentially an umbrella of no matter whether you are a performer, you are a bartender, DJ, a host, a dance instructor, whatever the case be in, MCN for that matter, having the proper written out agreement between you and the involving parties so that when it comes to your service, your craft, your overall art being of value and for someone to see it as such, having that shit in lock so that when it comes to you putting your work out there for others to see, ain't nothing getting misconstrued, ain't nobody getting screwed over, no backhand shit is taking place. Hopefully. Hopefully. This episode is important to me because just like all the episodes I've ever had, I love to give some type of history. I love to give some type of background as for what I went through, what was my experience, someone's experience that probably have also shared with me as well that's pretty similar to mine, what I had to go through, what I had to learn about myself in the process, what I had to learn about the situation, the people involved and such, and what I now do differently because of those experiences. And it just kind of goes back to this place of when it comes to coming across people, it's exciting for someone to say, hey, I admire what you do. Hey, you look really great when you do this particular thing, or you're really good at this thing that you love so much. And it makes you feel like, hey, I really, of course, appreciate that. I enjoy what I do. I want to do it in a big way, on a scale that says, hey, I'm here, I'm seen, um, work with me, collab with me, whatever the case being. And sometimes it's that glamour of feeling important, feeling like you have something to offer, only to realize that you might have somebody possibly exploiting your ass, or they have their own ego trip that they're playing with, and you just along for the ride, unfortunately. Now, disclaimer: a bit is going through a little bit of a cold situation. I feel like it's showing in my eyes for those of you who are seeing my face. As for listening to me, for the most part, I don't sound like Master P when he say, oh, as I did earlier this week. It was terrible. So we're just going to get through this episode and wish me well to feeling better completely sooner than expected. For tonight, what we're going to get into is my experience, a very pivotal one that made me be like, yeah, don't you ever do this bullshit again. And what I learned from it about myself, and of course the situation, particularly the person more than anything, and what I now expect of myself when it comes to working with anybody for that matter. So, you know how you'll get online and you could just be doing your own thing. You're not trying to necessarily connect with a lot of people in a way that you're trying to gravitate to specific eyes, so to speak. And then you have, depending on your flow of content, you may be wanting to have a certain set of eyes on you for whatever the intention is. For me, when I got into dance as a whole, um, specifically going back into 2017, I began performing at female reviews. That was my startup as a amateur, and I liked how that experience went. And I said, I think I really want to finally go ahead and start taking pole classes, in which that happened to be later on of 2017. And I haven't been away since. It's been a wonderful journey. It has its ups and downs when it comes to the physical part of your journey as far as learning moves and such, and it also has its ups and downs when it comes to the people that you come across in the dance world in so many ways. So when I got really heavy into just posting, it was always for me. For me, from a place of like, okay, this is this new thing I'm learning. Oh, hey, I'm just dancing on my floor and rolling around because it felt good and it was a Monday and I wanted to feel cute and put on some suspended socks and whatever, whoop-de-doo type stuff. Then I got into teaching 2019, and I actually just had my anniversary last week, 6 years, so yay. About a year in, I was teaching at a studio and ended up having to leave for other reasons, which would probably be another episode discussion collectively. And that beginning portion of 2021, I was definitely searching for a place of, okay, I don't work at this studio. I'm not trying to jump into a new studio right now. I really want to try to figure out gather my footing on how do I want to be. Like, yeah, I worked here, but I want to start really making a name for me in my own way. I am not expecting to blow the fuck up or no shit, but I also want people to know me as, hey, that's Jada. Oh, this is Pearl. Oh, when I see her and she do this move, that's a Pearl situation. It was sort of one of those things without trying to create that. It just kind of created itself over time, and that then opened up a place of, oh, there's Pearl. Oh, here's Jada. Oh, I get to, of course, connect with her. Oh, she's wonderful. Oh, she, is really nice, and this, that, and the third, and connecting with people, vibing, community type stuff, genuine connections with people, like I do still to this day. And then you'll come across some folks that you don't even realize is watching you. Meaning, I've had folks that either because of my pole mom or because someone looked at my post and was like, oh, that's dope. She's this, she's that. Woo woo. And it's in passing, when it comes to like certain videos, it might come across someone's feed and virals and things of that nature. Then you have some folks that you don't know shit about. You don't know nothing about at all. You've never heard of prior, that somehow hit you up and say, yo, I tell people about you in my classes because of you being a curvy woman and you're amazing and this, that, and the third, and they need encouragement, and I show them you. And I'm like, oh, bet. That's pretty cool. What? Like, who is this person? Who are you to, of course, see me? And I'm this particular individual that's a representation of what you see as great in this particular place. Keep in mind, I'm fresh dancer still. I'm barely 2 years in for real. Well, no, I'll take that back. Barely 3 years in at the time. But that's what happened at the beginning of this particular situation with this person. I will say her name as her former name. Former as far as her performer name or her previous life name when it came to her as a stripper. She goes by her actual name now in her current role, and I'll explain that at the end. So, this lady was in my DMs and telling me these really nice things about me, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, thank you. And then didn't think a whole lot about it. Started researching the person, of course, and I'm like, who is this person? At the time, I think their page went by either, I know she has several, I think it was the Mazzani Experience or Mazzani Pole Fitness, or I believe. And I'm like, who was this person? So I go rabbit hole researching and whatnot, and I go to all the different Instagram. I go to, of course, Google and see a lot of YouTube videos. I'm like, oh, okay, wow, she does amazing work apparently, and clearly she's been doing it for quite some time. So I didn't think a whole lot of it until some time passed, and I started getting more messages from her, and mostly compliment stuff, and then other things like wanting to have her own studio space somewhere in the Atlanta area. He's looking, of course, for space and trying to do these different types of classes and these certain programs and memberships and such, and just confiding, just general stuff. And I'm just like, oh wow, that'd be amazing and great and stuff. Just general stuff. So then that was about January-ish for sure. So talking, simple stuff, nothing too crazy. I don't think nothing by it. I feel like, somebody just coming out the blue just saying all these things genuinely unwarranted, they shouldn't be no harm. So 2 different things did take place. But I'm going to talk about the main one that really, really was like, yeah, this was a big ass no-no. So, long story short, for the first matter that took place, in February, she had this event that she invited me to come to, where I believe she was doing like a photo shoot or having people at an event to see art or something on this level. I honestly, because of that situation, I haven't even thought about that particular matter as much as the situation that really, really was the biggest. I can't even remember without having to go and try to like find old messages to figure out what the fuck was the intent of that event. All I know is that I got there, she was there. Apparently some furniture that she was trying to get delivered there was delayed as hell, and supposedly the owner was being shicey because he wanted some ass and she wasn't giving it up, obviously, and he's being a dick about the situation, and he's also the bookie for the fucking furniture. So the whole thing was just like a mess, because I'm like, I'm here longer than what the fuck I was expecting to be. But I'm like, okay, shit be happening, people be fucked up or whatever, woo, under the assumption that, it's all the other people. It's not her. She's trying to do what she's supposed to do. She's trying to do events, this, that, and the third. It ain't no bullshit on her end. Okay. That was number 1. Ain't sure about that. About March, I want to say March, April, she decides that she wants to do, I think it was a 2 or 3 day mega workshop weekend event in Miami. She wanted me there. She wanted a couple of other instructors and studio owners here in Atlanta. And as well as, of course, some that were in Miami, specifically at a studio in Miami that she frequents, along with knowing the owner and a few of their instructors as well. Had roughly nice little number of people, I would say. It was some heavy hitters to the point where I'm like, I'm still new. I don't think I need to be in this space for real, for real. But she sees value in me, so maybe I need to start opening my eyes more and maybe see what she sees, because otherwise, why would she ask me to be a part of this thing with all these wonderful people? Like, I say that from a perspective of I, at that place in my dance journey, was good, you know, as far as like a beginner person. I had done a few performances, graduated a couple of times, um, obviously taught and such. So I know my way around some stuff, but the rest was just like I'm a little unsure. But sometimes it be situations where you may have this thought process about yourself, but somebody else sees that potentially in you that you don't see in you just yet. And why would you downplay, you know, a matter like that? That's how I saw it at the time. And it was still made me feel a little apprehensive, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna want to see about making it happen. So she rounded up myself, the other people that she wanted involved between here in Miami area, as far as a Zoom meeting and what she was expecting of people. Basically, she wanted us to make sure we had the different type of class descriptions that we wanted to offer as far as classes. If we're going to do doubles with anybody, getting in connection with folks, having professional pictures done, all these different things. Even to the point where she got a little aggressive because she felt like we weren't taking it as serious enough as far as having all these different things to make sure that what it is that we're trying to make happen, or at least help her vision come to fruition, that we're taking it as seriously. So that made me like, okay, cool. Well, my girlfriend, she does a little bit of photography at the time when she was sort of still fresh in her photography, I would say, because it was 2021, so it was definitely still fresh for her. So I was like, well, shoot, I can try to get some home stuff done on my pole and be able to take some professional shots. That way I can have them in place and make sure I get the subscription up like she's expected it to be for the class type that I need. And what else did she say? Logo, having a logo in place. So it just having all these things in line according to her requirements to show that we're serious about making this thing happen. Okay. That was a good bit of March, April, I want to say. Get about before that time, she goes over that she was going to get an Airbnb for everybody to be in, so that way you don't have to worry about, of course, lodging and such, as far as everybody being separate. Everybody just has to be together. I'm like, all right, cool. So the only thing I need to focus on is me getting there. I need to make sure I have my flight in place. So I have a little bit kind of put away in savings. I'm gonna make some shit happen. So, because I feel like, hey, I can make some really awesome connections while I'm down here. I can really make a name for myself, connect with her while we're there, actually do all these different things with this person that I really don't know shit about, outside of the conversations I've had with her, outside of what I have seen on my own, really a 10, 15, 20%, if that, of, and the things I have done with her as far as in person. Still ain't a whole lot, but I'm like, yeah, I think I really want to do this thing. So about get to the week of supposed to be going to Miami. Before that, I had been promoting for the class. I had been speaking with the girl I was supposed to do a doubles with. Keep in mind, again, nobody really knows me like that, especially out of town. So trying to get people to sign up for a class and people don't know you that well, ugh, it was not the best experience. It felt a little defeating, but I was like, well, something's gonna happen. Maybe somebody's gonna sign up. Somebody's gonna be able to see me for who I am and what I do because she said that I'm great and I'm this and I'm that and people should just flock to it. Da, 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 da. All this shit. Get to the week of. I booked my hotel. I had booked my flight. That's what I did. I booked my flight first. I already got there locked in. About that Tuesday, because I was supposed to leave out there Friday. That Tuesday, I hit her up as far as Mazzani was like, hey, haven't heard much about it because communication's been kind of like, it's here and there, but mostly through email at this point after the Zoom call. And I was like, yo, I just want to get details about the Airbnb so that I know what to expect and whatnot. She tells me, oh, well, we had a change in doing the Airbnb, so I just decided that I'm just going to do something with my sister as far as getting a hotel or stay with her, whatever have you. Whatever the excuse was, it led from it having an Airbnb in place initially to now. So now I got to arrange my lodging in addition to, of course, the flight. From the initial conversation of there would be, of course, the Airbnb in place. Now, she didn't necessarily mention anything about having to have people put in for the Airbnb. If it was a situation where we needed to do that, of course, plan accordingly. But now that it's the week of, now I'm having to kind of scramble and try to find a room. It's not that difficult, but this is what I have to do the week of. Normally, I like to try to get shit done weeks in advance if I can. See if I get the best rate for it, have it locked in, don't have to be scrambling the week of, whatever the case being. But when she said that, I was like, all right, cool. Well, I guess I just need to go ahead and find a hotel and, lock it in. That way I'm in place. Because I got my flight, I need to go ahead and make it happen. So that was Tuesday. So Wednesday is here. So typically when you have any type of workshop, some type of event, whatever have you, and you have other folks that are a part of this said event, collaborations and what have you, typically you will promote for the workshop or event to take place so that people are in the know. Especially because it's your shit. I noticed that she had different events going on that were local as far as like Atlanta, or maybe they were possibly happening in Florida, but not specifically the event that we were all supposed to be a part of in Miami. I noticed it, but I was just like, maybe she got a special way of how she do stuff. Maybe she's one of those that promotes like a day or two before and people just show the fuck up. I don't really know. But I noticed it and it definitely concerned me from a place of, is she gonna make sure this shit is successful? Like, are we kind of just being the ones that's doing all promoting for ourselves? Like, don't get me wrong, if we have to do it for ourselves, cool, but it would make more sense for you being the creator of the event to be heavy on it as well. So I didn't question that either, to her at least, for sure. But it was definitely something that I observed. So then we get to Thursday. Now we all are a part of a group chat on our iPhones or whatever. And she then tells us on that Thursday that she is under the weather. She's caught some type of bug, some type of cold, some type of something. And she's concerned if she's going to be able to make it to Miami during the weekend. We still, of course, can make sure that the event goes smooth and that it's a success and all these different things without her. but she may not be going, but she's going to kind of like test out the waters and see. So now I'm booking a flight to stay at some hotel to go to a city that I don't really know most of everyone there, basically, outside of the person I have been communicating with for the collab workshop that we're doing together. And the person that is the reason why I'm going ain't even gonna possibly be there. Right? So I'm definitely having a conversation with my partner, like, babe, what the fuck? Because this is concerning now. I mean, I can't turn away because then it's gonna look bad on my part because this person is expecting me to do all these things and what have you and show up. And I would feel really bad if I just turn away from it. And I didn't already book this, that, and the third. And some money has already been spent, some's gonna be spent. And babe's like, well, babe, you know, this could be a really great, you know, connect for you. It do sound a little concerning, but I know you really want to make this happen, so I support you. As babe always does. Lord, I appreciate that damn girl, because baby, she has seen some things because of my ambition. That's what I'll say to that. So that's the note she gave us, is that she ain't feeling well. Okay. I'm about to check into my flight, so I can't really turn away at this point. So I said, okay. Friday gets there. I planned, I think, for a morning or afternoon. Definitely morning for sure, because my son was in school. He was in school at the time. And she dropped me off at the airport. And the flight was cool, whatever. Get to Miami, and then I take either an Uber or shuttle to the hotel that I was supposed to be at. Get over there to the hotel. I'm running into some issues with being able to get into my room. There's some banking issues, some other mess was taking place that was like keep leaving me frantic. And considering the days that I was planning on being there for as long as I was supposed to be there, it was a whole hotel booking conflict mess. While that mess is taking place, unfortunately, my girl got into a car accident at home. After she done took me to the airport, did what she needed to do for whatever reason and work and stuff, got into an accident on the phone with me, by the way. She was paying attention to the road. She was doing the things and whatnot until she wasn't. And frantically, a car accident took place with another vehicle. And she, of course, is freaking out. I'm worried because I'm not home to be there with her. It felt very emotional and concerning and scared. I'm already freaking the hell out for being, of course, in Miami and don't really know anybody, don't know what the fuck is going on, having to kind of like maneuver with all these new feelings about my travel there and what to expect or what have you, given the recent change of circumstances, on top of the fact that, damn, my baby didn't have a damn car accident back at home, so I can't even be there with her to support her. It was a whole shit mess. It was a whole shit show, honestly. But ended up, you know, we had to do with of course, the car. She was fine. She wasn't harmed. The person wasn't harmed. It's just a very unfortunate situation. But, you know, we got past that and everything and did what we had to do to take care of that. When it came to Miami, though, so when I travel, I like to be able to visit different studio spaces, especially if I've never been there before. So I ended up being able to book a class session to go to Felony Pole and seeing, of course, Felony in person as well. And that was fun. That was my little me time situation that Saturday morning before I had to teach the workshop that night. So that day was interesting because I had a wonderful time at Felonies. I was able to play around with climbing, of course, their pole, because that was I think the tallest I had ever climbed before, which was fun. and just the vibes, and of course the space overall was wonderful. It was a whole thing. It was cool. I'm getting online, and the same person that just said Thursday they was sick and could not come to Miami for their event for this workshop that she planned, she had the idea for. She rounded up all these people, including myself, to be a part of. You said you sick on Thursday, but I see you on Instagram Saturday at some type of like outside event, carnival like type situation or what have you, dancing, having a nice old time. One no old video. You know how we do, like, it's new to y'all, old to us. One no old video. It was damn show up to date. Okay? Timestamp and all. And now I'm conflicted because I'm like, when you supposed to be here? You don't look sick. Don't get me wrong. People can, have a little bug here and there, and, they be cool or whatever within like maybe a day or two. But for something like that, the way you was talking about it, man, I'm sensing some bullshit. By this time, I'm having a conversation with one of the instructors that's in Atlanta, who was wonderful. And I'm like, yo, do you see this bullshit? Because I know I'm not crazy. She was like, yeah, that is concerning as fuck. I mean, I'm going to get mines regardless. But what the fuck she doing don't seem like it's adding the fuck up. So at this point, I'm starting to put a couple of shits together. It ain't quite together because it ain't got to that peak just yet. But I feel like, yeah, this is concerning as shit, and I don't like how this is going. But I'm still in that headspace of, okay, I see all this happening, but maybe it's me. Maybe no, this is not what it appears to be. No, because she said this, so why would she do that? Like, I feel like that's where I really was at that place of a little bit on the fuck. There ain't no little bit, a lot of it on the gullible side. And we gonna definitely get into what I mean by that shit. But very much on this, why would she of course do that? Because if she's, supposed to be here and now she's sick, and then yet she's supposedly not really sick and she's supposed to be here, it was very mentally conflicting as for why this was not making sense to me. Like, I really was that person that was like, I'm taking what you're saying as face value, thus your actions are supposed to match that. And when they don't, I'm beyond thrown. It throws me entirely the fuck off. So, as Saturday night comes, I get dressed, or bring my things with me, of course, and head over to the studio to have the workshop with the person I was doing the collab with. It was cool. I mean, for what it was. Wasn't a lot of people. I profited maybe, I don't know, $20 fucking dollars out of that shit because it wasn't a lot of folks. End up going home even more frustrated because between the Ubers and the hotel, the flight as well, I don't equate that shit, and the frustration of really realizing that this trip was a bullshit ass move, influenced by the words of someone saying, oh yes, you should come be here, you should do this, I really want you here to be a part of this thing. And I fulfill my end only to kind of be left by themselves for the shit. It was a very uncomfortable feeling. It was like, I put all of this into making this happen, and this is what I get out of it. Like, I felt really fucking like played, taken advantage of. And for what? Because it wasn't like she gained any money from the shit. What did you gain out of it? And that's when I had to really pay attention that some people really go off of this ego trip. This ego trip off of this great idea of, yeah, you can do this and make this happen, da 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 da, and we should do this and you should take this seriously and this is gonna be major and big and All this bullshit only because it was taught. It was good to talk about. It was good to, you know, bring people in on it and feed off of that energy of excitement and ooh and ah, and this is gonna be amazing. All of you not take that shit nowhere. So got home that night, pissed. That Sunday, I I think I was in my room by this time. Because I didn't have any other workshops because nobody had booked for the other workshops that I had. So that was the only one that I had to teach. I pretty much was just in my room that day and was just chilling, not really doing nothing because I think that Monday is when I plan on leaving out. But what I wanted to do that Monday leaving out, because I'm almost sure that's what I did. And I hate this, but I can't even tell you if it was that Sunday I left or that Monday. A part of me feels like it was that Sunday. I have to go back and look at the shit. But regardless, it don't even matter. Because whatever it was Sunday or Monday, either way, I made sure I cussed her out that day before I got on the plane. Because I'm one of those people where if I got an issue with a situation or whatever have you, or a person, and I have to get on the flight to go home or travel wherever the fuck, I'd much rather get whatever the fuck I need to get off my chest now and don't have to take that shit with me back home. Especially if it's a situation where I'm like, yeah, this situation got me fucked up and I don't like how this shit going. Let me go ahead and address it now. So keep in mind, you ain't said nothing to nobody the whole weekend. The whole fucking weekend while we're there in Miami for the people who were there. Because, forgot to mention, a couple people did pull out from being a part of it. Some people that were here in Atlanta, definitely a few people that were in Miami and such. And I started noticing like the smaller number of folks over time. I'm like, okay, well, maybe some people can't be a part of it, whatever have you, you know, for whatever different reasons. Then in hindsight, now I'm looking back on it, they probably was able to peep their bullshit sooner than I did, and that's probably why they got the fuck out. And that could very much have been the case. As well as the former. So I gathered my thoughts. I gathered all of how I felt. I gathered the two scenarios. I gathered from the time she actually first hit me up to this point and questioned her. Why did you bother me? Why in the fuck did you even bother saying anything to me? Why did you even get me up in this situation? And of course, I also had to ask me, Jay, why did you try your best to make this happen with what you know? And that's where I had to learn, ooh, shit, ask my questions. Ask my motherfucking questions. Really get a feel of what you are really getting into. Because being so quick to say yes to a situation does not always pan out that it's going to be a good thing to be a part of. I ended up politely cussing her out. I mean, I feel like it was polite. Maybe it wasn't. Regardless, I got what the fuck I needed to say out. And still talking to the person that's here in Atlanta. So after I said all the shit I need to say to her, I sent it to her in a message. She go into the group chat to basically plead her case about, you know, I'm sorry about, you know, not showing up, this, that, and third, all this other bullshit. Then she sends me a reply. I get myself out that group chat because I don't want to hear that bullshit. She sends a reply to me as well as to the person in Atlanta, basically confessing her reason for why she wasn't here in Miami. She said something on the lines of her spirit told her not to be in Miami because of some bad blood that she had with some people here, and it was not a good thing for her to be here. And that when she did have the idea initially about showing up, that was her former self being on a trip about coming, and that vibrato kicked in of, you know, being dominant and being in charge, when her spirit said no, she don't need to be there and she needs to stay away and all this other bullshit. She done did some dirty shit to folks, and they was out for that ass apparently, and it may have been where if she brought her ass back to Miami, she's gonna get got. Something to that degree. Please don't quote me on that shit. All I know is that apparently she pissed some folks off in that part of Florida. But it was the fact, if that was the case, then why the hell did you make this workshop be in the exact place where you damn near is being exiled from? Like, why would you have it there if you got issues there? Like, it goes back to that ego trip shit. So, in a nutshell, she ends up sending me $100, I guess, to make up for the fact that I spent damn near $1,000 with everything. I mean, every motherfucking thing. And as soon as she gave me the $100 through Apple Pay or whatever, she gets in my stories lurking. Now that I do remember. I may have some other shit that I may have forgot, or just it had left my mind. But that shit I do remember specifically, because it's giving, you done did some fuck shit, but you naturally expect the person that was affected to go in their stories and talk about you and this, that, and the third. So you in my stories heavy, looking to see if I'm finna say some shit, which I didn't. I was definitely at that place, and for the most part I still am, where I wasn't going on trying to put nobody on blast and, you know, this person fucked me up and da 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 da, stay away from them, da da da. I didn't do any of that shit because I felt like what I needed to say and do was handled the way it needed to. I didn't feel like I needed to go to social media with this shit, given the circumstances and whatnot. So it was really one of those things. I was like, you know, if you wasn't doing people all fucked up, you wouldn't have to go back and see if they gonna say some shit about you. If you genuinely was doing folks right, you wouldn't have to go check to see if they gonna say some little shit about your ass. Because even if I did, what you gonna say? You gonna lie and say that none of this shit happened? When I have the receipts? When I have the message that I've sent you? You didn't debunk anything I said. So clearly all this shit was correct. So, that whole ordeal. After that, I went back home, of course, now to a car that has to get fixed when it comes to the door in that whole situation. And really had to take a step back and be like, yeah, we can never do this stupid shit again. That story was long. God damn. But yeah, we're to never do that again. And that means if somebody sees something in us, yeah, you can listen to them, but when they go into, hey, I want you here type situation, yeah, I need that in writing. I need some deposits. I need to know what the fuck it's for. Who are you? Where you come from? Who you work for? Bitch, who your mommy is? Like, I need to know all this shit at this point. So that brings me into talking about some very key points that you should pay attention to when it comes to being in the dance world, the service world, the art world, whatever type of world where you are doing something with someone and they are wanting you to be somewhere, they're wanting you to be, of course, in town, out of town, whatever the case being, and they're coming to you with this, by the way. Keep in mind, they're coming to you with this, and what you need to have set in place so that you can potentially avoid the bullshit that I experienced. So, number one, the glamorized idea of being booked versus being exploited. Because people think travel bookings means, okay, shit, I'm leveling up. When in actuality, the wrong booking can actually cost your ass money, goddamn time, and your fucking insanity for nothing. So, really having to pay attention to the person that's coming to you saying, yo, I want to book you for such and such. Okay, cool. So, look up their name, their work, their reputation, ask around, see if they work with people you possibly know. Like, vet your ass off. Vet. I've had plenty of people that's like, you don't want to get into a course doing, more paid gigs and such. Cool. I encourage you. Definitely make sure you have you a booking form, like an inquiry form, because I get it all the time. Oh, I want to have you at this event, or I want to have you here, such and such. All right, cool. Here's my booking form. Have that in place. Ask very specific questions when it comes to the location. Is it a venue? Is it going to be in a club? Is it at a studio? Is it at somebody's house? Is it at an Airbnb? Is it at a conference room? Whatever the case be, whatever the matter is. Having that locked in so that we know for sure. Now, you may have some that be like, hey, I haven't locked in the places yet, but this is what I'm kind of going for. That one is kind of like, you want to book me, but you ain't got no location. Kind of concerning. But, hey, well, once, of course, you figure out your location, then you let me know. But I ain't trying to move too much without knowing that you have something locked in for sure. Okay? Ask about their budget first. And this is the reason why. We will have prices in place for our booking fees as a performer, MC, host, instructor, whatever the case be. But it could be a situation where they have a budget in place and that budget might be higher than your booking rate. So this is an opportunity for you to not shortchange yourself. So you have someone that's hitting you up, it's like, hey, I would love for you to be a part of this event, and I want you to perform, I want you to do floor work, I want you to do pole, whatever the case be. Like, okay, cool. Well, what is your budgeting? What is your budget? What does your budget look like when it comes to paying for a performer? If their budget happens to be higher than what your booking rate would be, whether it's by hourly or to lock you in, you might want to go and take that. Okay? Now, if it's a situation where if it's lower, then you need to make sure you state your rates. This is what's going to be required in order for you to move a damn thing. All right? Now, if they can meet that, great. If it's a situation where like they have to kind of lowball you, I will say this. If they have to lowball because like, hey, we can't fit into the budget, okay, well, I'm going to need to know this as a guarantee. This is the booking rate where I can be able to take this, but I need to be able to have this many people. I need to be able to, of course, have tips, or I need to be able to teach a class. I need to be able to have an additional gig there. Whatever the case being, to make sure that whatever your base rate that you typically prefer when it comes to getting booked is covered. Once that's in place, cool. Because one thing you don't want to do is go into a situation and they lowballing you and then you just take it whatever the fuck ever. Because at that point, it's like you really coming out more out of pocket than you should be doing. Now, in some situations, you may say, hey, I just want to be able to, of course, get the booking. I'll front the fee on the other stuff, whatever have you. That might be your issue. I've done it a couple of times. But now it's like, bitch, you got to make sense. Especially if I'm having to travel outside of my state, it has to make sense. So, depending on how you want to do that, but the goal here is that we're not going into the red when it comes to what we're getting back in as far as your return of your investment. When it comes to presenting your prices very clearly and confidently. So it's not a, oh, well, maybe I can do, stand firm and issue. I've done that as well. So presenting your pricing clearly and confidently is also a must. Meaning, If you know that you want to have your booking and your deposit for say 250, 300, and then you get your remaining, of course, balance, make sure you stay firm on that, because I don't want you to be in a situation like, oh, well, I can kind of, move around and do this now. Because if they can waiver you out of your booking fee, and that's supposed to be your solid, like for sure fee, they can waiver you to do any other thing else that gets them more out of you for less money. Don't do this shit. Okay? Get your travel details locked in. Meaning, you may be in a situation where you have to go out of town and someone, of course, wants you to come perform or what have you, or teach a class. And they're like, well, hey, I can have you stay at my place or stay, of course, with a person that can be able to accommodate you. I can take care of your flight, or I can take care, of course, the gas money getting there, your Uber, whatever the case being. Have that shit locked in on paper as well, because when it comes down to, oh yeah, we can just do this, we can make this happen. The thing about saying that is even friends can forget shit. Even your people that you fuck with can forget stuff. It's really one of those things where, yeah, you have some people that you genuinely can like you have that rapport with, that it's like, okay, we can do this way and it's okay. But I also feel like as a backup, just to cover your ass, have that as something that says, hey, she said we're gonna do this. This of course is agreed upon. There ain't nothing to be, confused about. This is what it is. Cool. Even when it comes to travel, if you know you have to fly, explain, hey, this particular airline is the ones that I prefer. Either you can take care of the airline or the lodge or both or one or the other, whatever the case being, just to make sure I'm good. So that means they may, of course, have to put out money. They may be able to cover you in a way that's through a buddy pass. Maybe they got some flyer miles. Maybe they have, of course, a spot that's like a guest house at their house, whatever the case being. But to make sure that that is for sure locked in. All right? Do not move without that deposit. You have a deposit in place. If that bitch ain't paid, this booking ain't real. In my opinion, it's not fucking real, because that money secures your time. So no deposit, no commitment. Right? When it comes to what you offer in your services, say you are a performer as far as in dance. For me, I know that I do, of course, pole, I'll do floor, I'll do stuff that's in studios, I'll do stuff that's not in studios. I'll do stuff that's more on a nice, soft, elegant, artistic expression. And then there's, it's supposed to be some titty shaking. Okay? Things gonna get loose. Boobies and all. Okay? Knowing what it is that you want to offer and where is absolutely very, very important. For example, if you know you do not do one-on-one private bookings, motherfucker, no. I said no, and I'm going to stick with that no. And the reason being is because you may not be comfortable wanting to do that. That may not be your ish. If you don't do house parties, for example, you have plenty of guys that's like, oh yeah, I want to book you to come to my house. A lot of the times they're just gonna see if you gonna take the fucking bait. That's really on your dime. They're not gonna really fucking like put this shit up for real. However, you do have some that might actually be serious. If they are serious, you say, hey, I can do, of course, the booking somewhere else. I just can't do it at no house because this is my ground rules. This is, of course, what I prefer to have. You may have some that's like, hey, I have an event or whatever happening. I want you to come through and whatnot, but it's gonna be all dudes. That's gonna be a no. I would prefer to, of course, have women there as well. I prefer a mixed crowd. Then there's also you having your own security. Having your security in place, that way, for whatever the circumstance is that's within my expectation, my standard, but I'm going to have my security in place to make sure, of course, my safety is intact. Long as they cool with that shit, you good. But they got an issue with any of those things, it's going to be a no. Very, very big on protecting your energy. So really asking about what type of environment that we're going to be in, the crowd vibe, the setup, the dressing room, big on the motherfucking dressing room. Safety is not an option, for real, for real. Like, it's really a part of your booking. So making sure you have those things so that you are protected as far as your energy as well as your body, because that shit's important. Keeping your business organized so that you're not running in circles, meaning when it comes to what it is that you offer, what is your rate menu looking like, your booking process, whatever boundaries, being very clear on all of that shit so that nobody can go in and say, oh, yeah, I can get this from you, I can do that from you, type shit. Don't do none of that. Because right after that situation happened in Miami, I think later on, maybe about September, October, or November. It was definitely one of the ember months. I got booked to go to Philly for the first time. And that was the first time I had to go through a conversation and feel confident in said conversation of, hey, well, if you want me to come to this event, I'm going to need this in order to be able to make it happen. And it was scary, I'm not gonna lie, because the person, sweet as pie, I never met her in person, just like of course the other person. But I felt really confident in her wanting me to be there for the things that she wanted me to be able to do, which was to do a performance and to be able to host. So I was like, okay, I've had my experience in both. I know I can be able to do them and deliver. Let me make sure that I'm clear on what it is that I need in order to be able to make it happen. And I explained, of course, that I needed my flight or lodge covered, and that way I can go ahead and be locked in for sure. She agreed on being able to take care of my flight. I had to take care, of course, my hotel, and I was cool. In that exchange alone, and granted, I was only going for like a day, was breathtaking because it was like, okay, I told a person what it is that I require in order for me to be able to make something happen with what I offer. They respected it and made it happen. I can do this. I can feel good about doing that. And I think a lot of it has to do with, oh yeah, sure, I can make it happen. I can do it. Da, 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 da. And you know you running rampant and ain't got no money because you're too busy trying to just do everything on your own dime because you want to appear that, oh, you know, I can make it happen. I can do this and stuff. That's not helping no motherfucking body but the person receiving all the things, because it's damn sure not helping you. And that is the biggest takeaway that I had to gather for myself with the Miami situation. I look at it as it taught me, hey, even someone like this person who's supposed to be of this high caliber can also bullshit people. Again, to this day, I still don't understand why the hell that was something they wanted to do. But when you look at some of these documentaries like Inventing Anna or Fire Fraud, just two examples. The biggest thing for them was the hype. It was the excitement of this thing they wanted to make happen and do and bring whatever people to be a part of it, even if it's on a scale like a weekend workshop. Because, of course, the stuff that they obviously went to jail for was on a much, much bigger scale. But the mental objective has its similarities. Has its similarities from a perspective of, I really want to hype motherfuckers up on some shit that's not gonna fucking happen. And the only one who's technically benefiting is me and whatever I feel in my mind, in my body. While everybody else just kind of looking around like, what the fuck? And that's essentially what took place. So I take that situation as, well, don't do this shit no more. Do not be so easy to say yes to an opportunity Because like in my last episode, every opportunity ain't gold. That absolutely was not gold. It was shit. It was shit. It was shit. Um. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to bring up. So the person that did this again, she used to go by Mazani. She went from, and I will say this without sounding like an asshole. Um, you know how people can go through a part of their life where they are in this one phase in their life and then they do a whole complete big ass 180, and it could be for the better for whatever intents and purpose that it is. It can be from them wanting to be on this different walk of life. They have this calling on their life that they want to embark on. They want to leave this old part of their lives alone. They want to leave that part away that no longer serves them, and there's a different shift in their selves that they want to embark on. Okay, now I won't take that away from nobody necessarily, because I too have evolved. I wasn't a bad person, but we were children at one point, so we did a lot of stupid shit. And so now we are in our, late 20s and 30s and some 40s, and we've evolved to be better people. Now, things can really happen within a short amount of time in folks where just in 4 years, they were this one person and now they're this new person. However, in her case, to go from used to be, of course, in the dance, the pole industry, heavy, to wanting to go into just straight pole fitness, you no longer were dancing in the clubs anymore. Now you just being shiesty as fuck with people and don't think nobody, of course, is putting two and two together, to turn around and be a whole evangelist. Now you go by your real name. When I found that shit out, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Mm. It kind of goes like this. The only person that you can judge is the person you knew up until the time you no longer knew them. Anything after that, you can't say nothing because you don't know what shit they've been on. You don't know who they've been dealing with, who they've been talking to, whatever walk of life they on now, for real, because you haven't been a part of this shit. Only person you know is the person that you knew all the way up until you no longer knew them. So I can only judge Mazani. I can't really judge the evangelist because I don't know them. I see it and I'm just like, that's it. So that part was just comical. That whole situation was just comical. But yeah, that shit really happened. So, the importance of having these things in place. Having shit documented. Promises and ideas are not payment. The hype is not a fucking contract. Structure is absolutely important when it comes to vetting, checking past events, checking how they pay people, checking their level of consistency, making sure that you are protecting yourself from being manipulated, trauma, and feeling like you made a terrible ass fucking mistake, which you did, and how you can make sure you don't fall privy to that type of shit again. Oh Lord. The avoiding of accountability on the fact that you knew the whole time your ass was not going to be there. You knew you were going to be there. and treating your business like it's some old bullshit ass therapy session, because in one breath you say, oh yes, we're going to make this happen. In another breath, well, you know, I had these issues and these demons in the spirit and told me not to do this. Yeah, we not here for that bullshit. Ever. We don't do that. Having these boundaries in place is going to be very essential when it comes to whatever it is that you do that involves your body, your time, your craft, your intellect, your wonderful aura. All these different things are very much necessary when it comes to your boundaries being set in place, because these are lessons that need to be very clear, very much everything in writing, everything is understood so that you are good. At the end of the day, who wants to go around just performing all willy-nilly and not getting nothing for it type shit? So making sure that you have those boundaries in place. Now, for example, if you are a person that does performing, that you go in, for example, if you know that you do performances with, say, a certain studio or a particular organization and such, and we already understand, hey, this is a non-pay gig, however, of course, you can get tips and such. Hey, this is a gig that you, of course, are deciding to be a part of. It's not a payment to actually get into the event, but you can definitely make, of course, money while you're at the event. Hey, that's your ish, cool. It might be a situation where you've done an exchange with somebody. It's like, hey, I'll be a part of your event, you be a part of mine. We can do it that way type thing. Therefore, we know, hey, we aren't necessarily, we're booking each other, but it's not an initial deposit situation going about. Then hey, cool. That's something you make happen. That's understandable. But when it's a situation where somebody's coming for you on some shit where they want you and your time, and it won't matter where you were searching for them. They came to your ass. They said, ooh, bitch, I want you. That's when you have to, of course, set those rules. That's when you set those guidelines. When I tell you the people that once I told them this is what the fuck I expected, crickets afterwards. That means you was bullshit any motherfucking way. Or you probably were expecting me to be like, oh yeah, I can just jump on it. No. And got to the point now, I've had folks that have hit me up asking about, oh hey, you know, I'm trying to, of course, do this showcase, this, that, and the third. And, you know, I'm trying to, of course, make this big thing happen and have this event and all these women and do this, that, and the third. You know, I want to pick your brain a little bit. Cool. That's going to automatically be $100 just to have a bit of a conversation. Usually those are also men, and they also leave me on red. Cause sir, what you thought? I don't know here. Like, if you want to make some shit happen, make some shit happen. But if you really want my expertise on the shit and what I see that's good or bad, because I have been around this shit long enough to know, okay, this is probably going to be the best way to go about that, then you need to pay me for my time. Until then, So that experience really taught me to be very direct in what it is that I expect for myself when it comes to what I offer. It made me start looking at me in a high value place when it comes to what it is that I do. Thus, let me make sure I continue putting the work in so that it matches, obviously. Because you got some people that's around here just dancing and don't be doing shit. And I'm like dead ass serious. They really don't be doing shit. Like, they think they are, but they not. But anyway, so having to really look at me from a scale of almost no different than you speaking life into you, so much that if somebody comes along and tell you that same shit, it's like, okay, cool, I know this already. Now what? Yep, I am this wonderful person. Now what? Yep, I am, of course, this person that is able to do all these wonderful things. Now what? What do you add to that? What else is there? And I say that from a place of, there's a part of you that probably should be a little bit more on the cockier side. definitely get a little bit more on your high horse of your confidence of self, so that you are very sure of self. You're not having to have somebody come in and tell you all these things only to jip you in the process, only to be able to get you all excited and waver you however they want to for their own gain. So confidence in you is definitely going to take you further than you would ever imagine when it comes to your craft. But baby, have that shit in writing. Have it in writing so that can't nobody play on your top. Can't nobody play on your dime. And can't nobody play with your time. Because if they try to go against it, hey, we gotta go ahead and go toe to toe. However, we need to do that. I hope that I gave some insightful information. I, as always, try to do my best in informing people so that the things that I'm talking about, somebody has experienced it in some form or fashion. They're probably going to experience it and don't even realize it. And hopefully they can listen or watch this and pay attention to the signs, pay attention to the things that people are doing and how they move, and really get into a place of, okay, I've seen this before, or I've heard about this. Let me do my research a little bit more just to make sure. And unfortunately, when it comes to some scenarios in life, you might come across that one that may check all the dots, and everything, of course, is right until you get there, and then some stupid shit takes place anyway. The goal is to make sure that you're doing your part, you're doing your best, you're doing what's right, and everything else will fall in place. That I know for sure, of course, will happen no matter what. So I think that's all for today, y'all, because Lord, going through that whole story and reliving everything in my mind as I'm trying to explain it all is a task. But I do it for y'all. I do it for the purpose of getting this shit out. And please make sure that you are following me on Spotify at Jaded and Faded Convos. And if you are watching me on YouTube, make sure that you are following Jaded and Faded Flows with Jaded LaPearl. I got all the names. All I know is that, of course, Jaded and Faded Flows and Convos, that's all me. But, of course, make sure that you are subscribing there as well. In addition to the podcast, I have other awesome things that I post as far as my classes and snippets of videos I do, all those different things. And I'm always going to talk about the faded portion when it comes down to small business collabs. If you happen to have health and wellness, which also includes sex health, Delta 8, THC, CBD specifically, things pertaining to microdosing and such, and you want to have that promoted on Jaded and Faded Convos, please let me know. Send me a DM, send me a message on whatever platform that you may find me on, and let me know so I can be able to collab with you. And that way the faded portion can be further discussed when it comes to portions of the episodes as well. So I think that's all for the night, y'all. I, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I am going to continue recovering so I can feel better with this cold that I've been having that's been running rampant in my chest. But we're going to get it together by next episode, which will be the following Sunday. So I'll be good then. And of course, happy holidays to everybody, because Thanksgiving is definitely next week. This week, actually. And happy holidays overall, wherever you are. And I thank you so much, as always. My name is Jaded LaPearl. Thank you for tuning in to Jaded and Faded Convos, and I'll see you. Be easy.